of the pandemic. And that is what this bill is designed to do. You know who would have loved to have those approval ratings? Donald Trump.
Indeed, absolutely right. Eugene, just as you take your new job and your new post, it's in time for everything in the world to get blown up. Everything is different this time around. And to that end, we're hearing Biden's first appearance before a joint session of Congress may now get pushed clear into April. That would be interesting. Any reporting you have on the underpinnings of that decision and how firm it might be?
I think one of the things that we're finding about this Biden administration is that they are almost singularly focused on the task at hand, right? They stay on message. And the thing that they want to talk about right now is COVID relief. They want to talk about the vaccines. They want to talk about the fact that they got Merck to help out Johnson & Johnson to make more of their vaccines. And I think that they don't, even every time, because I've asked them this question, I've asked Jen Psaki this question at press briefings, and she kind of waves us off and says, we have a job to do. The president is focused on doing what he's doing at this moment. This State of the Union or this joint address to Congress is going to come, but they haven't talked about when it's going to come. I think there was also a conversation behind the scenes about how safe it's going to be, right? You have these extremists saying online that they're going to do something at this joint address of Congress. And I think they're thinking about how to get their hands around the safety of that. They want to make sure that it's safe for COVID. So they're dealing with a lot when I talk to them about how they're going to plan this State of the Union, this joint address to Congress, and I don't think any other presidents had to deal with it, but they want to also focus on their agenda. They said, like you showed, he has these high approval ratings, and they know they don't have a lot of time for the things that he wants to get done. And so they're trying to get as much done as they possibly can without having to concentrate on the pomp and circumstance of a joint address to Congress.
Susan, the George Floyd trial is going to be getting underway. Still a terrible societal gaping wound for all of us, something we all witnessed. And the after effects, of course, are going to be with us, as they should be, for a good many years. And I assume this White House and others will be watching very closely.
Yeah, I think so. We had a new poll out about in preparation for the trial that where jury selection begins on Monday. I thought the most striking thing we found was that more than a third of Americans say that in the past year they have rethought their views about racism, the police, law enforcement, and social justice. And that is, I think, a pretty incredible number. More than a third of American adults said they have had occasion in the past year to try to think through and reconsider what they believed about these things. That shows the kind of continuing impact I think we are likely to see as a society from all the activism we saw with those huge marches after George Floyd's death last year.
And think of it this way, all the conversations we're having, the poll numbers that it moved, none of it would have happened but for the presence of a camera to record it and make it that real, that urgent, that devastating to watch for all of us. I can't thank our big three enough tonight. Susan Page, Garrett Haake, again, welcome to Eugene Daniels. Have a good weekend if it's at all possible. Coming up, ever since the night...
Swearing and getting back to everyday activities is appealing, but we're not there yet. We have seen this movie before. When prevention measures like mask mandates are rolled back, cases go up.
In Texas and Mississippi, two of the states rolling back these mask mandates, essential workers say they're increasingly worried, of course, about getting sick because, of course, they have no control over the people they come in contact with during their workday. It's why our society calls them essential workers. We just don't treat them that way. Mayors in some of the biggest cities in Texas say they plan to keep some of the mask mandates in place despite their own governor's order. For more, we want to welcome back to the broadcast Steve Adler. He is the Democratic mayor of the great city of Austin, Texas. Mr. Mayor, thank you for taking our questions tonight. Two-part question to start. How is your great city recovering from the night the lights went out and the water quit and the power grid collapsed? collapsed? And do you really think the governor is doing a brand adjustment to be as Texas as he can to say no masks, no problem?
You know, we're doing well. For a lot of people in our city, they're still in the middle of this crisis because they don't have water yet. While the system has been put back together, they have broken pipes, so we're dealing with that. But by and large, people have power and water in the city. But it is a city that has pulled together to help one another. It's up to us right now on masking too, now that the governor's removed that mandate. You know, he promised us that he would follow the science and the data. He broke that promise. There's virtually no science to support ending the masking